20 years after the original series, Star Trek returned to television in 1987, starring pretty much a cast of unknowns. Star Trek: The Next Generation would go on to be a massive success with the audience and critics alike, winning 19 Emmy Awards, 2 Hugo Awards, 5 Saturn Awards and a Peabody Award. 7 seasons and 178 episodes later, it is still regarded by many as the peak of Star Trek. Welcome to The Final Frontier. It gives me great pleasure to bring you the top 10 episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
To boldly go where no one has gone before.
Number 10. Iborg. The Enterprise crew discover a crashed scout ship. Among the wreck is a single survivor, a young injured Borg. Taking advantage of this unique opportunity to study the Borg, they restore him to health and realize they now have an opportunity to use the drone as a weapon of mass destruction against the Borg. But at what cost? The Borg are without doubt one of the most dangerous villains ever encountered in all of science fiction, which is why the story of the humanization of an individual Borg is so powerful. And at the heart of the episode lies an age-old moral dilemma. Is the murder of one life justifiable if it will save many others? This episode features superb performances from Jonathan Del Arco as the innocent Hugh and Whoopi Goldberg as Guinan.
But you are Borg.
No. I am Hugh.
Number 9. Parallels. Lieutenant Worf returns to the Enterprise from a Bat'leth tournament and slowly discovers that he is moving across parallel universes. This episode was originally conceived as being centered on Picard, but changing it to Worf helped to allow the surprise Worf-Troi romance, a relationship that would evolve over the final season of The Next Generation. However, some fans objected to the pairing as they felt the Riker-Troi relationship was the correct pairing. Whatever the case, there can be no doubt that Michael Dorn, who plays Worf, and Marina Sirtis, who plays Deanna Troi, show some great chemistry in this great episode. Number 8. Chain of Command Part 2. While newly assigned Captain Jellicoe tries to whip the Enterprise crew into shape for a confrontation with the Cardassians, Picard is caught on a secret mission, taken prisoner and interrogated. With Deep Space Nine preparing to take to the air, the Chain of Command Torpato was designed to help establish the Cardassians as formidable adversaries, and boy does it work as we see just how ruthless and cunning the Cardassians are. A superb story with elements that resonate strongly with real-world events to this day is coupled with some of the finest acting seen in the series, both from Patrick Stewart and guest stars Johnny Cox and David Warner.
There are 4 lines!
Number 7. Tapestry. If you had the opportunity to go back in time and alter your actions, what would you change? In Tapestry, Jean-Luc Picard gets precisely that opportunity through Q, and he takes him up on the offer. Unfortunately, the outcomes of changing that pivotal moment in his past has unexpected consequences for the future. This episode is essentially the Next Generation's version of A Christmas Carol. It was the first time that Ronald D. Moore had written a Q-based episode, and he has described it as one of the best things he has written and one of TNG's finest episodes, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Things will be different. I'm sure.
Number 6. Cause and Effect. The Enterprise encounters a special anomaly through which another Federation ship, the USS Bozeman, emerges on a collision course. The Enterprise is hit and destroyed. The Enterprise encounters a special anomaly through which another Federation ship, the USS Bozeman, emerges on a collision course. The Enterprise is hit and destroyed. Wait a sec. Yes, the Enterprise is caught in a time loop, resulting in its destruction over and over again. This episode was unsurprisingly written by Brannon Braga, who certainly loves his time travel. It was also directed by Jonathan Frakes, aka Commander Riker, who did a great job of shooting the same scenes over and over again but still making them seem fresh. Kelsey Grammer, well known for his role as Fraser, also cameoed as the captain of the Bozeman. Number 5. Q-Hu. Captain Picard steps off the turbolift and finds himself on board a shuttlecraft along with Q. Q asks to become part of the crew, but Picard refuses, which leads Q hurling the Enterprise deep into unknown space. There they have their first encounter with one of the deadliest foes in the galaxy, the Borg. This episode combines two of the greatest foes in the Next Generation's history, Q and the Borg. Interestingly, the Ferengi were initially intended to be the great villains in TNG. Thankfully, that didn't quite work out as planned, and instead we were given the incredible Borg, who would go on to appear in 5 further episodes of TNG, as well as star in Star Trek First Contact.
Fire when ready.
Number 4. The Measure of a Man. Captain Picard and Commander Riker fight it out in court to determine Data's right to self-determination, and to try and prove that he is more than just the sum of his parts and is truly self-aware. This incredible episode asks us what exactly is consciousness and how can you prove you are self-aware. For many, it is such complex themes that differentiate Star Trek from so many other television shows out there, and this second season episode clearly set a marker for the rest of the series.
And now a man will shut it off. Pinocchio is broken. Its strings have been cut.
Number 3. Yesterday's Enterprise. A rift in space opens and the USS Enterprise NCC-1701C emerges, changing the timeline into a reality where the Federation is in a bitter war with the Klingon Empire. The only person on the Enterprise D who realizes that something is not quite right is Guinan, and she must help return the displaced starship to its proper time in order for the Enterprise D crew to save themselves. This gripping episode sees the return of Tasha Yar, who was originally killed without fanfare in the first season episode Skin of Evil, and we see her here at her best trying heroically to save the future.
Let's make sure that history never forgets the name. Enterprise.
Number 2. The Best of Both Worlds. Responding to a distress call from a Federation colony, the crew of the Enterprise arrive to discover the colony has been destroyed. Suspecting the worst, it is confirmed the colony was assimilated by the Borg. Moving to intercept, Captain Picard is captured and assimilated to become Locutus of Borg. This incredible two-parter acted as the finale to Season 3 and the premiere for Season 4, and is often regarded by many as the best episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, including by Empire magazine. So what could possibly have pipped it to the number 1 slot? Well, only one of the finest pieces of television ever put onto screen.
We will proceed to Earth, and if you attempt to intervene, we will destroy you.
Number 1. The Inner Light. After being caught in a probe's energy beam, Captain Picard finds himself on a distant planet, and this is where I find myself in a conundrum. Such is the passion with which I view this episode that a quarter of a century after it first aired, I still refuse to spoil this episode for anyone. So much so that this scene here is actually not from The Inner Light, but a 6th season episode called Lessons, where Picard plays a melody on a flute that is of great significance in The Inner Light. When my family and I first watched The Inner Light, it was as if a spell had been cast over us. Such is the magic of this episode. This is not just the best episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, but is one of the best episodes in the history of television. So, and there we have it, and I know so many of you will be asking about what happened to so many of the other great episodes. All I can say is a big shout out to Darmok, Deja Q, Timescape, Lower Decks, Ship in a Bottle, and All Good Things for being oh so close to hitting the top 10. Please comment on the ones you thought should have been there and which episode you would therefore have taken out. Although we can disagree with which episode should be in this top 10, there is one thing that I'm sure that we can all agree upon. And that is that The Next Generation was an incredible television series, and one that is greatly missed today. For more videos on Star Trek and science fiction, please subscribe and look out for the worst 10 The Next Generation episodes coming soon. Live long and prosper.